Okay, so tonight we're diving into a Copa del Rey final that, well, everyone was talking about Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Just a massive game.
Huge. And one source even called it a spectacle, which feels about right for El Clasico in a final.
Totally. And you sent in some great stuff for us to look at. We've got the highlights, the full match recording, some really detailed tactical analysis, and even a very passionate fan reaction.
Yeah, quite the mix. The idea is to pull all those threads together, right? Give you the insights beyond just the 3-2 scoreline.
Exactly. Synthesize it all so you get the essence of this clash without needing to watch every single second yourself. Let's get into it.
Sounds good. Where should we start? Early game.
Yeah, let's do that. So the match kicks off. One source, 11, flagged it as a spectacle from the get-go.
And Bull Aziz, who covered the full match, made a good point early on how an early goal can just completely disrupt any game plan.
Right. And 11 also reminded us, contextually, Barcelona have this incredible history in the Copa del Rey.
Yeah.
Most successful team.
Which maybe explains why they came out so fast. Bull Aziz's commentary really picked up on that fast, inventive start from Barca.
And it led to that goal, didn't it? Torres just 11 minutes in.
Yeah, 11 minutes. The commentator actually noted the sort of understanding between the players for that goal. Looked quite slick.
And it wasn't just a fluke, was it? The tactical breakdown we looked at, Football Made Simple, they really honed in on Barcelona's shape when they had the ball.
They're in possession shape, yeah.
Right.
Right from goal kicks.
What does that actually mean for someone maybe not deep into tactics?
It's basically how they set up when they have the ball. Their formation, where players position themselves, and apparently they were targeting space left by Real's Rodrigo.
Okay, so pulling him central opened up gaps elsewhere.
Exactly. And Football Made Simple also pointed out Barca's left back Martinez, who they said was kind of imitating Balde's style, pushing really high up.
And that caused problems.
Yeah, real headaches for Real Madrid's midfield, according to the analysis. It stretched them.
Makes sense. Disrupting the middle is key. And it sounds like Pedri and De Jong were crucial there too.
Definitely. Football Made Simple highlighted them finding those little pockets of space, messing with Real's defensive structure.
So Barcelona are looking dominant early on. How did the fan, Faisal, see that first half?
Whoa, he absolutely saw it that way. Said Barcelona were all over them, multiple corners, controlling the ball, total dominance in his eyes.
But what were Real Madrid doing? Or maybe what weren't they doing?
Well, Bull Aziz's full match coverage described this frustrating spell for Real Madrid, trying to move the ball in midfield, but just lacking sharpness. Urgency.
Yeah, just not clicking yet.
And the tactical analysis sort of backs that up. It said Real initially set up in a 4-2-3-1.
Okay, standard enough formation.
Standard, yeah, but apparently it struggled with how Barcelona were building up, especially down Barca's left side where that left back was pushing high.
But things obviously didn't stay that way. The momentum shifted, didn't it?
Massively. Faisal, the fan, he pinpointed the moment Modric and Garcia came on for Real Madrid, though he might have meant Araujo, maybe?
Possibly. Easy mistake in the heat of the moment. But his point was those subs changed things.
Completely, in his view. He said Real looked like a different team. More hunger, more fight. They suddenly looked, dangerous.
And tactically, did the analysis pick up on a change?
Oh, yeah, big time. Football Made Simple identified a definite shift in Real's pressing in the second half.
How so?
They got way more aggressive, especially with Güler and Modric on. They even switched to what's called a back three press sometimes.
Back three press. So
Yep.
pushing a defender forward.
Riskier, right?
Much riskier. Fewer defenders back. But the idea is to win the ball higher up, closer to Barca's goal. A real gamble.
Did it work? Initially, at least.
Well, it seemed to unsettle Barcelona. And Football Made Simple also noted that deeper on the pitch, Real shifted formations too, sometimes a 4-4-2, sometimes even a 4-3-1-2.
Trying to maximize pressure then. Exactly. More man-oriented, they called it. So players sticking tighter to their direct opponents.
And Faisal felt that change. He saw the increased fight.
Definitely. And he mentioned Real getting the equalizer Mbappe from a free kick, he said. Though, interestingly, Bull Aziz's account mentioned Rodrigo scoring around 37 minutes.
Slight difference there. But the key thing is Real Madrid equalized.
Right, and then they actually went ahead. Faisal mentioned Tchouaméni scoring with a header to make it 2-1.
Wow, so a complete turnaround from that early Barcelona dominance.
Yeah, the game totally flipped, but it wasn't over yet.
No, definitely not. Barcelona found a response, didn't they? Even after going behind.
They did. Faisal described them as looking maybe shell-shocked for a moment.
Understandable.
But crucially, he said they got their composure back.
And how did they get the equalizer? Was it tactics again, or?
Faisal highlighted a specific moment, Lamine Yamal getting the ball way back in his own half.
The young winger, yeah.
And then, according to Faisal, some poor marking defensive mistakes from Real Madrid.
And bang. Bang! Ferran Torres scores. 2-2. And that goal was confirmed in both the highlights and the full match sources we had.
Okay, so 2-2. It's interesting, though, you mentioned Real Madrid's tactical shifts. Did their approach with the ball also change in the second half?
Yeah, that's a good point. Football Made Simple noted they actually got braver on the ball, started playing out from the back more.
Why would they do that? Seems risky if Barca are pressing.
Well, the idea is to draw Barcelona's press higher up. If Barca commit players forward to win the ball back, it leaves space behind them for Real to attack.
Ah, okay. A bit of bait.
Kind of, yeah. And they said the rotations between Modric and Valverde in midfield were key to making that work, finding ways to bypass the press.
So the game's tied, intense. It goes to extra time.
Yeah. And that's where the winner came. Faisal described it vividly, Modric losing the ball.
Oh, costly from someone like him.
Very. And then Koundé gets into a shooting position and scores. 3-2, Barcelona. That moment was also in the 11 highlights. What a climax. So the tactical analysis, what was its final verdict on why Barcelona won?
They basically concluded that, yes, Real Madrid's aggression and risk-taking in the second half got them back in it, made it a real contest. But ultimately, Barcelona's quality may be combined with getting that bit of luck or capitalizing on that key mistake, just saw them through.
Right. Let's touch on some individual mentions and inevitably the controversies. El Clasico rarely passes without them.
True. 11 did make a note about how strong Barca could have been if fully fit, specifically mentioning Alejandro Balde being out.
A big miss for them, yeah.
Yeah.
And did Bolaziz pick out any individual moments?
Yeah, the full match coverage highlighted good saves from both keepers, moment of solid defending. It wasn't just about the goals, there were key individual battles all over.
And Faisal, I imagine he had thoughts on the referee.
Oh, definitely. Very strong opinions. He felt Barca maybe should have had penalties, and that Tchouaméni could have even seen red.
Okay, but we should stress that's his passionate fan perspective.
Absolutely. His viewpoint, full of emotion watching his team. He was also quite critical of some Real players, like Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr., thought they didn't perform.
But he praised others.
Yes, he was actually very complimentary about Tchouaméni, despite suggesting the red card, and especially Lamine Yamal for Barcelona.
Interesting. And that fan reaction really captured the raw feeling, didn't it?
It really did. He mentioned how upset the Real Madrid players looked at the final whistle. You could feel the weight of the rivalry, what it means.
Did the tactical analysis mention Yamal specifically?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Football Made Simple pointed out how Yamal really exploited the space behind Real Madrid's left back, Garcia, particularly when Garcia was pushing forward aggressively in that second half.
So taking advantage of Real's own attacking intent.
Exactly. But they also gave credit to Modric and Güler for the positive tactical impact they had when they came on for Real Madrid. Balanced view.
And Faisal's final thoughts seemed to be about team spirit.
Yeah, he felt Real Madrid perhaps lacked a bit of team unity, or maybe just didn't show the same level of hunger as Barcelona, especially in their pressing. That was his perception anyway.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? A final full of tactical shifts, individual moments, high drama.
Absolutely. Driven by managers' decisions, player actions, and yeah, probably those moments fans will debate forever.
So wrapping this all up, this Copa del Rey final was, well, a proper roller coaster. Tactical battle, big momentum swings.
Definitely. Barca started strong. Real hit back hard with that aggressive second-half adjustment.
But in the end, Barcelona find the winner. 3-2. Individual quality, maybe that touch of fortune we mentioned.
But just huge emotions all around, really underlining that intense rivalry.
Yeah, the passion from the fan reaction, the tactical adaptability from both teams. It was all there.
It really showcased everything that makes El Clasico what it is.
So, thinking about all that, the tactics, the young players like Yamal stepping up, the raw emotion, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does a result like this shape the next El Clasico?
That's a great question. What lessons do the teams take? How does it affect confidence, especially for those younger players?
Exactly. And for you listening, what was the most surprising thing you took away from this deep dive? What stood out most to you?